Can we be honest about tofu? I feel like tofu is one of those things that's really bland and needs some extra flavor. So today I'm going to show you how I flavor my sweet and sour tofu. First, I begin by pressing the moisture out of the tofu with some paper towel and then placing a plate at the top and leaving it for a bit. And now for the texture. But the thing is, we're not going to just add texture, we're going to add texture with flavor. Here I'm adding in some cornstarch, and that would definitely add to the crunchy texture that you like. And here I'm adding also some flour and some spices. So in there I have paprika, cayenne pepper, seasoning salt, black pepper. But you can use the spices that you like. Another two that really helps is onion powder and garlic powder. It definitely layers on the flavor. And I will add the measurements below. So after you mix that in, you stir in some ice cold water, and that would help with thickening up the batter because it's best for it to be thick enough to cling on to the tofu pieces when frying. Continue to stir until it gets into a thick consistency that can cling to the tofu. You may also need to scrape the sides of the bowl from the cornstarch because it tends to stick along the side, and just keep stirring it into the mixture. If it's too watery, like I thought this one was a bit too runny, I added a bit more, about a tablespoon and a half of the cornstarch to thicken it up a bit. And I continue to stir and at the same time scraping the sides of the bowl to ensure everything is stirred in properly. So I added a bit more cornstarch, and as you're going through the mixture, you can add to your liking. It depends on how thick you want your batter. But as I said, I prefer mine thick so that it clings to the tofu pieces. And here I'm going to show you how thick the batter is looking. So you want it kind of like a pancake consistency or a cake consistency. And this here was perfect. This is exactly what I was going for. By this time, a bit of the moisture would have been removed from the tofu, and the removing of the moisture ensures that the tofu doesn't become too soggy and it is really crunchy. So here I'm just chopping the tofu into cubes, as you can see, and patting them dry with the extra paper towel. Now for this next step, you want to be extra careful. Because the tofu is soft, you want to be extra careful in how you're getting the batter onto the tofu. So you don't want to stir them up too much, but to gently fold it into the batter or scoop and drizzle the batter onto the tofu. And I think I prefer that method because it ensures that the tofu maintains its shape. So you want to be really, really careful here and don't put too much in at the same time. Now on to frying. I use the shallow method of frying just to avoid using too much oil at the same time, but we all know deep fried food tastes really good. And in my experience, when I deep fry it, it comes out way crunchier. But of course, it's not the healthiest option, so we have to do it in moderation. But look at how golden and crispy it is already. And when I tell you that tofu was delicious, my goodness. The trick is really ensuring that the batter is properly flavored so that it can add that golden color and a really, really great flavor. Now we're going to add an extra level of flavor, which is the sweet and sour sauce. So after heating up the sauce, add the tofu in for a few minutes and that's it. And here you have a delicious tofu. And trust me, it can taste like sweet and sour chicken if you give someone and they're not too sure. But yeah, guys, I really enjoyed making this and I had it with some brown rice. So let me know if you tried. And to my Caribbean people, tofu is like $3 or $4 in a supermarket in the US. So whenever you go, pick up a pack or two. And tofu is not an everyday thing for us. So let me know. And as always,